What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. I hope the long weekend has been treating everybody well, and y'all have been getting some nice, relaxing time. Thank you, as always, for the support on the channel. Y'all have been killing it lately, and the videos have been popping off. So we're gonna have a lot more content coming through, hopefully towards the end of the season here. We're hitting that little dry spell, but definitely we're going to be finding content. We got Master Valve the Disciple coming out next week, so that's going to be really nice, and hopefully it gives us a nice difficult challenge for that raid, because it has been super easy so far, and the challenges, the second Caretaker and the third challenge were good, but the other two, not my favorites. So we'll see how Master plays out, especially with just a chance to get adept weapons. Not too sure on that, but enough of that. In today's video, we're going to be going over the two-tailed fox void build that I've been playing with. I have been loving the void changes and have been playing around to find some different ways to play with it, because everybody's using kind of the same variations of everything. And I found this two-tailed fox and I absolutely love using it. I know Gjallarhorn is the king of kings when it comes to DPS and everything for our rockets, but having that void and that solar rocket rip downfield have some nice perks to it with playing with that void 3.0. This is the build that we got going on right here for our Titan. We're going to start out with the super. I'm actually going to be using this Ward of Dawn for that extra little bit of protection, because we are going to be playing with a shotgun and an SMG or an auto rifle, because I do love my Gnawing Hunger and I couldn't decide if I wanted the Funnel Web or Gnawing Hunger, so we're just going to go with both. For our abilities, you got right here are pretty typical, with Void Grenades being our grenade of choice for me. Aspects here, we got our Controlled Demolitionist, so when we hit our Void abilities or volatile explosions, it makes them volatile, those enemies, and then furthermore, the damage of the volatile targets causes them to explode. That grants you health to you and your nearby allies as well, so that is pretty cool, getting that health back, because we are going to be up close and personal for a decent amount of those destroys. Besides, with those rocket is going to be our nice cleanup tactic for our champions, our bosses, and stuff like that. We're going to have Bastion on the side right here, so when we throw down our barricade, we're going to get that nice overshield that regenerates over time. Pretty key for staying alive as well. Now, since we do have those void grenades on, we're going to throw on Echo of Remnants for that lingering effect of the grenades. We're also going to have Echo of Leeching on, so when we're close, we can get those melees to start health regeneration. Plus, that 10 resilience is super nice. As you can see, we have 100 resilience, so we're going to be throwing down our shield a lot. Lastly, we have Echo of Undermining, so our void grenades weaken our targets. Going to our weapons here, we're going to have the seasonal weapon right here, Reckless Endangerment. Been loving this for both PvE and PvP for a few different reasons, the variation in perks, and then I'm using Vanguard's Vindication on it, so final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health, which is pretty nice, like I said, especially for this build up close and personal. Those volatile rounds, you can cause them to explode with this weapon once you produce it with either these two or our grenades and abilities. Now, well, like I said, we're going to go with the Funnel Web for that void synergy on this build, creating that volatility on enemies. And then you can also go the Gnawing Hunger, two of my favorite void weapons. And this season, it's nice that they both pair well if you're going in using Overload Champions, something like that with this build. So both of these can stun those champions, and they are both very good void weapons. And finally, for our weapons right here, we got the Two-Tailed Fox. Been loving this weapon for the Void 3.0 aspect, because we got one solar rocket and one void rocket that tracks your target, so it does a good amount of energy for a few different reasons, and it plays into our Void 3.0 like I said. Now, that reason I'm talking about is this intrinsic trait right here for it, play with your prey. The void rocket actually suppresses enemy, which is perfect for that Void 3.0 synergy, and then the solar rocket causes damage over time. So it does a little bit of both. We're going to be able to shoot, suppress our enemy, and cause that little solar burn on them as well to do that extra DPS. So this does a very, very good amount of DPS, at least for me, especially when you get like your grenade on it to weaken them, and both the solar void hit, you're suppressed, weak, and everything like that. So it can just absolutely melt some of our enemies. Now for the armor for our Titan, this is what we're going to rock right here. We have our increased resilience, so we're going to run 100 resilience on this build, so we're throwing down our overshields all the time with rocket launcher finder for that two-tailed fox. We're also going to have Phantomite, so when we pick up those elemental wells that match our subclass, so when we pick up our void elemental wells, we will be granted another bonus weapon damage of the same type. So both our funnel web, gnawing hunger, and our two-tailed fox will be doing more damage because of Phantomite. Now on our arms right here, again, I'm going to throw stats for increased discipline on this with grants class ability each time you cause damage with your grenade. So that kind of pairs well with having grenades pretty often with this build, because collecting those elemental wells does replenish your lowest ability energy as well. So we're going to get grenades back really fast, even though we only have 32 for our ability here. Next off right here, again, we're going to have that increased resilience with some rocket reserves. So two-tailed fox is going to be slapping and having a bunch of rockets on it, as well as reaping wellmaker. So after activating our class ability, your weapon final blows on combatants spawn void elemental wells. So just because of this one and having 100 resilience, we're going to be throwing down shields so fast. It's going to be super easy to proc reaping wellmaker, and then any of these defeats with those weapons will cause a void elemental well to spawn, which is perfect to play for our Phantomite, and then also our volatile flow that we got on our legs here. Which, playing into the legs, we have scavengers for both our rocket and our shotgun on, with again increased resilience to hit that 100 tier for our shield. Finally, right here on our class item, again, resilience, but with bomber, so we reduce grenade cooldown when using our class ability. So that's where it really comes into play, only having 30 discipline here. It's going to be a slow recharge for grenade, but because we're going to be popping shields so often and having bomber on with those elemental wells, we will get grenades back super fast as well. And finally, to round off our mods, we have elemental armament, so combatant weapon final blows with a damage type that matches your subclass element have escalating chance to spawn elemental wells, which just means just normal defeats without anything else proccing with our funnel web two-tailed fox, at least the void rocket, and then also our gnawing hunger have chances at spawning elemental wells in themselves. So we're going to be able to spawn elemental wells via just normal weapon defeats with these weapons here, our void ones. After we cast our barricade, it doesn't matter if it's even our primary that doesn't have a burn on it, our defeat will cause a void elemental well to drop. And then also with all of our void grenades that we're throwing, those will also cause void elemental wells to drop, which is perfect for having that Phantomite for increased damage on our void weapons, as well as volatile flow to create volatility via all of our void weapons as well, which just pairs perfectly into our subclass. So those volatile explosions here for controlled demolitionist grant us some health as well. This class right here has been so much fun to run. I have absolutely loved it, and like I said, it's very good with the void synergy. There's void wells everywhere for you and your teammates, and for DPS with that two-tailed fox, having suppression for the void rocket, having weakening on your grenades for void, standing in your bubble, getting that to proc, as well as Phantomite, you're absolutely destroying people with this build here. And on top of it all, that second solar rocket that comes in because of play with your prey, you get that little tick damage over time as well. This build, definitely everybody should give it a shot. Hopefully you like this. I know there's been a lot of void builds out there. Like I said, tried to find something that was a little different than others, especially with our heavy being mostly Galahorn or something in the void realm with our rockets or a sword causing that explosions. But I do truly love this two-tailed rocket, and we have the Reckless Endangerment, which is a banging shotgun for both PvE and PvP in my personal opinion. Pair that with the Funnel Web Recluse 2.0, probably the best SMG in game, and then Gnawing Hunger. This is trusty dusty, had this boy for quite some time. Love the Subsistence Rampage on it. So hopefully once again this helped you guys out. Try this build out. It is absolutely slapping hard with the Void 3.0 this season. Thank you guys so much again. I'll catch you all next time. Peace.